Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're tackling a really interesting stack of sources, all focused squarely on, well, the future of how we earn money.
Yeah, it's a big one.
This deep dive is really about leveraging the newest, the most cutting-edge opportunities out there for bringing in extra cash. Or, maybe even replacing that 9 to 5 altogether for some people.
And it's shifted, hasn't it? It's not just about earning a bit extra on the side anymore. I mean, side hustles have really evolved.
How so?
Well, they've moved past just, simple labor or maybe selling some crafts locally. Our mission today, really, is to understand the new principles driving this. Things like freedom, flexibility, scalability, especially using the toolkit available in 2025.
Right.
We're highlighting income streams that use AI, use automation, stuff that quite literally didn't even exist 5 years ago.
That's the key, isn't it? The tools. The real shift here seems to be how these tools are enabling scale, even for like a solo operator.
Yeah.
Okay, let's unpack this a bit. Before we jump into the specific opportunities, why are we even talking about side hustles so much right now? Why is it so crucial?
Yeah, it's important to get the context first. We have to look at the bigger picture, the macro context. Our sources are pretty clear. The gig economy has just exploded.
Right.
We're seeing this massive societal change. Get this. Over 45% of Americans now report having some form of supplemental income.
Wow, almost half.
Nearly half the working population is actively, diversifying their income.
And the economic drivers behind that are pretty undeniable, I suppose. Things like inflation, the rising cost of living. It feels like it's pushing people to look for new ways to earn just to, keep up.
Exactly. For a lot of people, a side income has kind of shifted from being a nice to have to more of a financial imperative, But here's what makes 2025 really different. It's the accessibility of genuinely powerful technology. AI, automation tools, these incredibly user-friendly apps, they're seriously lowering the overhead.
And the time investment too, right?
Absolutely. The time needed to start something potentially successful. You don't need venture capital anymore or a whole development team to launch a service. Often you just need a laptop and maybe the right prompt for an AI.
Okay, so if you're listening and you haven't jumped on this trend yet, the key takeaway here seems pretty simple. The sources strongly suggest if you're not side hustling in 2025, you might actually be leaving significant money on the table.
Yeah, potentially. And it's money that's increasingly necessary just for stability these days.
Okay, so this is where it gets really interesting. Let's dive into those specific profitable income streams. We're going to focus right on that intersection of technology and, making money, starting with AI leveraged creation.
Right. Category 1, AI-powered freelancing. The demand here is just surging. Clients on platforms like, Upwork, Fiverr, even newer ones like Contra, they're paying a premium.
A premium for what exactly?
For workers who can effectively integrate AI into their workflow. These specific skills are in high demand.
And we're not necessarily talking about complex coding, are we? It's more about different skill.
Exactly. We're talking about high-value skills like prompt engineering, basically, knowing how to talk to AI to get the result you want. Or things like AI-assisted video editing, high-volume AI blog creation, even AI voiceovers.
So the insight there is that the skill set is shifting maybe from pure execution to curation or guiding the AI.
That's a great way to put it, curation and guidance.
Yeah.
You don't have to spend hours manually editing every single clip of video anymore. You spend minutes guiding the AI to edit it, frankly, faster than any human probably could.
And that speed must increase the value, right? Faster turnaround.
Immensely. The speed of delivery increases the value of the output a lot.
Okay, following that thread. The second income stream you mentioned is print on demand, POD, and merch, but specifically powered by AI designs. Selling physical stuff like t-shirts, mugs, posters. That used to require some real graphic design skill, didn't it?
It absolutely did. That was a major barrier. But now, using AI design tools, things like Midjourney are famous. But even advanced features built into tools like Canva, it means almost anyone can generate unique, potentially marketable designs pretty much instantly.
It's a huge disruption.
It really is. A massive disruption to that creative barrier to entry.
I remember seeing an anecdote in the sources. Someone apparently made, $5,000 in just 1 month selling funny, nooch t-shirts generated by AI on places like Redbubble or Etsy.
Yeah, that story definitely catches your eye. And look, while that kind of earning potential is possible, let's add a little dose of reality here. The key option isn't just one magic design. It's the ability to generate a massive volume of niche ideas very quickly using the AI. The success isn't just the AI tool itself. It's the ability to maybe test 50 different designs in the time it used to take a human designer to perfect just one.
So it's about iteration speed.
Exactly. The AI allows for almost industrial scale iteration and testing of ideas.
Okay, that makes sense. So if AI helps us create products faster, the next logical step seems to be using automation to, distribute and scale content. Let's move to category 2, faceless content and digital services.
Yeah, this area is maybe the most fascinating for pure automation potential right now. We're talking about things like YouTube automation and faceless channels.
Explain those a bit.
Sure. These are channels often in niches like finance summaries, motivational clips, tech reviews that are really booming, but the creator never needs to show their face or even use their own voice.
And what's the financial incentive driving this? Why are these taking off?
Well, a big part of it is the CPM. That's cost per mil, or what advertisers pay for every 1,000 views.
Right.
Certain niches, particularly finance and business, have exceptionally high CPMs. So the potential earnings per view are much higher. Sources are confirming that some highly consistent faceless channels are hitting 6 figures annually.
6 figures without showing your face. And you mentioned the tech makes it easier.
Oh, ridiculously easy now, relatively speaking. Tools like Pictory, it can generate videos directly from text scripts. Synthesia creates these realistic AI avatars. 11 Labs does incredibly human-like voiceovers.
Wow.
So you really don't need a studio, you don't need expensive mics or cameras, you don't need voice talent in the traditional sense. It just fundamentally changes the cost-benefit analysis for starting, say, a large content hub.
That ease of creation then seems to tie directly into the fourth big opportunity you identified. Freelance digital marketing, but with a focus on short-form content.
Exactly. Businesses are, frankly, desperate for consistent content on platforms like TikTok, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts.
And most small or even mid-sized businesses, they just don't have the bandwidth or maybe the in-house expertise to keep up with that demand.
Precisely. And that's where a freelancer can step in. Our sources suggest you could charge clients anywhere between, say, $500 up to maybe $2,000 per month per client just for managing and generating that short-form video flow for them.
And how is that manageable for one person?
Well, you're leveraging efficiency. Tools like CapCut for editing, combined with some of those AI video and voice tools we just mentioned, they allow one person potentially to manage the content production for 3, maybe 4 clients with just a few focused hours of work per week.
So it becomes a high-margin service because the effort is relatively low thanks to the tools.
Exactly. A high-margin, relatively low-effort service.
Okay, number 5 in this category is podcasting or newsletter writing. You hear a lot about niche content exploding.
Yes, absolutely. And the sources really highlight the rise of high-value paid newsletters specifically.
Paid newsletters, how does that work?
Well, platforms like Substack, for instance. Creators are building significant income reports, mention successful writers earning up to $10,000 a month just by cultivating a really dedicated paying audience.
Wow, but in really specific fields, right?
Super specific fields, yeah. Things like obscure manufacturing industry updates or deep dives into specific financial news, things you can't easily get elsewhere.
And the barrier to entry there is still pretty low.
Seems to be. Minimal equipment needed, maybe just a decent microphone for a podcast, or simply a consistent writing habit for a newsletter. The real requirement here isn't tech, it's consistency and deep, focused knowledge that people actually find valuable enough to pay for.
Got it. Okay, let's pivot now to category 3. This feels like a slight shift away from pure content creation, more into services and financial hustles. Number 6 on the list is remote tutoring or coaching.
Yeah, the demand here is huge, and it's global. People everywhere need to learn marketable skills fast, things like coding, personal finance basics, maybe a foreign language like English, or even really specialized fitness coaching.
And platforms help connect people.
Definitely. Platforms like Cambly, Preply, Teachable, they basically handle all the tricky stuff, the logistics, the payment processing. They connect your existing knowledge, whatever that might be, to a potential student body all over the world.
So you're essentially trading your time and expertise for money, but crucially on your own flexible schedule.
Exactly. Flexibility is key there.
Okay, number 7. You mentioned the basics are still strong, but with a modern twist. Delivery and gig jobs.
Right. So the classics like Uber Eats, DoorDash, Instacart, they still offer reliable, pretty quick cash if you need it, on demand. That hasn't gone away.
So what's the twist?
The twist comes in some of the newer, maybe more hyper-niche delivery areas, things like package delivery specifically for Amazon Flex, or using local store delivery apps that are popping up. They often emphasize extreme flexibility, maybe signing up for just a 2-hour block.
So it's like the ultimate hustle if you need cash tonight.
Pretty much. If you need immediate cash flow, these are still very viable options.
Okay, and the final item on our list, number 8, and you flagged this one, requires some caution. Investing as a side hustle, focusing on passive income.
Yes, primarily passive strategies here. We're talking about things like dividend investing, maybe some careful stock trading, and getting exposure to real estate through newer app-based methods.
Can you elaborate just a bit on that real estate part? What are the lower barrier options there? Because buying property is usually a huge hurdle.
Sure. So instead of buying a whole rental property yourself, which involves massive capital and effort, we're looking at instruments like REITs, real estate investment trusts.
Okay.
Think of them almost like buying shares in a company whose whole business is owning and operating income-producing real estate shopping malls, apartment buildings, data centers.
So you get a piece of the rental income and potential appreciation.
Exactly, without the headaches of being a landlord. There are also fractional real estate apps now that let you invest small amounts into specific properties. Makes it easier to start small.
That sounds appealing, but like you said, this is where we need that big caution flag.
Absolutely. This category, investing, is the distinct exception to the sort of low-risk rule that applies to most of the other hustles we discussed.
Why the strong warning?
Well, while the potential for passive income is immense over the long term, I really have to emphasize the paramount need for significant caution. You need thorough education before you put any money in, and critically, never invest money you cannot afford to lose.
Right.
This should be treated like a long-term strategy, maybe part of your overall financial planning, definitely not a get-rich-quick scheme. So, okay, we've covered these 8 pretty diverse high-potential income streams now. What's really fascinating, I think, is connecting the dots. How do you actually move from this, exciting list of possibilities to generating real, consistent income?
Yeah, the strategy part. How do you pick the right fit? That seems crucial.
It really is. And you have to be pretty honest with yourself here. The sources consistently agree. The best side hustles usually align with your existing skills or genuine interests.
Makes sense. Don't force it.
Right. If you absolutely hate writing, maybe don't launch a Substack newsletter, If learning how to prompt an AI feels like pulling teeth, maybe skip the AI freelancing for now.
And you mentioned starting small.
Critically important. Start with low investment and low risk. The whole point of a side hustle initially is not to create debt. It's to prove the concept actually works and generates some revenue before you commit serious time or money.
Like testing a minimum viable product, an MVP, for your side business idea.
Exactly. Test the MVP of your side business.
Okay, then there's the consistency factor. This feels like where a lot of people might, fall off. They treat it like a hobby, maybe, not a small business.
That's probably the #1 failure point. You absolutely have to install discipline and patience. Our sources are pretty clear. Most side hustles fail, not because the idea itself was bad,
But because people quit.
but because people give up too early. Often within the first, say, 90 days, when realistically, income is often still close to zero. You have to commit to treating it seriously.
Maybe setting specific hours.
Yeah, maybe setting boundaries. Like, okay, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays, that is my hustle time, period. And then be consistent with that for at least, say, 6 months.
6 months. That feels like a reasonable time frame to really give it a shot.
That 6 months of focused, dedicated work is often the difference, honestly, between a successful new income stream and just another failed experiment.
Okay, so let's bring this home for the listener. What does all this mean for you right now? We've pulled out a direct, actionable, quick action plan based on these sources.
All right, step 1, pick just one hustle from the list we discussed today. Really resist that shiny object syndrome where you try to do 3 things at once. Commit fully to one choice first.
Okay, one choice. Step 2.
Step 2, spend this coming weekend actually learning the specific tools you'll need, whether it's CapCut for video, Midjourney for images, 11 Labs for voice, whatever it is. And set up the basic infrastructure, your profile on Fiverr, your Etsy shop, whatever is needed. Just get it set up.
Get started. Step 3. Dedicate those 5 to 10 hours per week consistently. Like we said, regardless of immediate results. Treat it like a non-negotiable business commitment.
Exactly. Step 4 is about metrics. Don't just track your gross earnings monthly. That's not enough.
What else should you track?
You really need to track 2 key things. Your total earnings, yes, but also the time spent to generate those earnings. The goal isn't just money, it's optimizing your dollar per hour rate over time. That shows you which activities are truly high leverage.
Smart. Know where your time is best spent. And finally, step 5.
Step 5, scale. But only once you start seeing proven, predictable results. Once you know your system works, you're getting clients, making sales consistently, then you can think about reinvesting some time or maybe a small amount of capital to automate further or perhaps expand your client base or product offerings.
Scale from a position of proven success, not just hope. We've covered an incredible range of opportunities today, and the common thread seems to be how they're all fundamentally shifted or at least enhanced by the accessibility of AI and automation. It feels like technology is just eliminating so many of those old barriers to entry.
It really is. You could argue it's kind of a golden era for the solo entrepreneur or the side hustler. The tools are just that good now.
So, a final thought for our listeners to chew on.
Yeah, my final question for you to consider, maybe as you're thinking about that weekend setup plan, is this. Given that pretty much every hustle we listed today has a relatively low barrier to entry now, which of these high-tech options best serves your personal goal? Are you primarily looking for maximum flexibility, the ability to earn when you want, how you want, or is your main goal to build true, consistent replacement income, something that could eventually free you from your current job?
Because the answer defines your strategy.
Exactly. Knowing your why, flexibility, or replacement income really defines how you'll approach it, how patient you'll need to be, and ultimately, which hustle might be the best fit for you in 2025.